does not is not reality. It's not realistic, and so they had to ask him, confront him, that why would he be saying that, and it almost led to fracas.
And they said there was no empathy on their side.
On that side, and that's why I think the Ogun State governor should be, or government, so to say, should be commended for their timely intervention. We brought it up here. We spoke with the Commissioner for Environment, Ore Olasoya, and who was able to swing into action and call all the government officials, and they went there. The government has gone there. The governor himself had visited there twice prior the visit of the ministers. And yesterday we saw the Minister of State for Environment, Dr. Ishak Salako, was on ground, and the Minister of Water Resources and Sanitation, Joseph Utsev, was also there. Well, they spoke so much about what they will do, set up committee and all of that. But after all of the speeches being made there, I did to speak with the governor to find out about the concerns of the people, which is about the ecological fund. That's the reason for which they opened the dam, released the water, and it's causing a lot of havoc for the people living there. And so let's quickly take a listen to that, after which we'll be right back.
For me or for the minister? Okay.
It's your state as minister.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah. Good afternoon.
I must start by commending you.
Thank you.
The way it started, we brought it to your notice.
Yes.
I were able to interview your commissioner.
Yes.
Ola Oresoya.
You didn't introduce yourself.
My name is Adenike.
Okay. Okay.
I work for Superscreen television.
Okay. Very good.
All right, sir. Okay, sir. Basically, I'm happy that you're saying that there will be a lasting solution.
There will be.
But how soon that is, I'm sure you cannot tell us now.
Correct.
However, the information reaching us is that there is an ecological fund that the government that the government receives, and that's the reason for which every year the dam is being released and the place is flooded. How true is this, sir?
I'm not sure I understand that question. Maybe Honorable Minister can answer that question.
No, come again with the question, because you're asking about drainage, ecological release. I don't understand.
Yes. From findings from residents in this area, they say there's an ecological fund the federal government takes, and that's the reason for which this place is flooded. When they open the dam, and there are also companies that fish and export it. So I would like you to clear the air.
There's no connect. There's no connect.
You know what? Let me thank you for wanting us to answer your questions, but let me make some certain clarifications. The state government does not have any ecological fund. The federal government is a custodian of the ecological fund, and that fund is appropriated and spent in areas where the need has been identified, and that need is not identified by just the governor saying, I need this money. There's a process that is followed. The attention of the government will be drawn to the particular incident. Studies, consultants will be appointed. The place will be evaluated to see if it truly qualifies. And if it did qualifies, then the funding will be released in line with due process to ensure that it meets the needs of the people and provides a long-lasting solution to the problem. So there are times where the problem is because there are no drains, there are no outfalls, there are no embankments, there are no retaining walls, there's need for channelization or desilting, and so on and so forth. Or perhaps at times when you're experiencing the environmental impact of people that have mined in some areas and have not done it. About times it's just an issue of the global warming, like the minister had mentioned. But those things, like I said, I only arrived at to see if it truly qualifies, and if it did qualifies, then the funding will be released in line with due process to ensure that it meets the needs of the people and provides a long-lasting solution to the problem. So there are times where the problem is because there are no drains, there are no earthfalls, there are no embankments, there are no retaining walls, there's need for channelization or desilting, and so on and so forth. Or perhaps at times when you're experiencing the environmental impact of people that have mined in some areas and have not done remediation. So about times it's just an issue of the global warming, like the minister had mentioned. But those things, like I said, are only arrived at when they have been carefully evaluated. So that is as far as ecological fund is concerned. The issue of the dam is another story, and you see that both ministers have refused to address those issues in particular, because for now they can best be described as speculations until when a study is carried out. A minister cannot come here and say, oh yes, it is a dam, or it is this. That is why the ministers have said they will sit down. They've asked for the community to present members to be in the committee that will jointly work between the state, the residents, the federal government, to ensure that a study is commissioned which will throw up the immediate cause of this problem and how we can resolve it. So let's not muddle issues up and say the dam, the ecological fund, that is not true. So I hope that, but I'm sure that the ministers may want to clarify.
Of Ogun State, Dr. Abiodun, he has said so much, gentlemen, and what he has said is that, of course, a study will be conducted, the committee will be set up, and they ensure that these residents who are facing the flooding will be part of the committee. But of course, public officials, and sometimes they have the intention of doing the right thing, but you might find that at the end of the day it might be pretty difficult for them to bring those who would really speak in that committee. Because for me, I believe what the community should be doing right now is to ensure that they get individuals that can represent them well. Individuals who would not be afraid to speak the truth to power, to say what exactly happens and what can be done. I know what I'm saying, because even when you work in an organization and all that, you'll find that whoever that is being chosen to represent you might get there and is trying to make connection and be the good person. What's your take?
From the look of things, the residents I saw there yesterday are quite outspoken. Like there was this chairman that was talking about the dam. He was actually pointing out what the dam is supposed to be for. It's supposed to be for electricity, irrigation, it's supposed to be for agriculture. You understand? And he knows what the dam, he has some technical know-hows on what a dam is supposed to be used for. And I'm sure when he gets there... Of
course, these are highly educated individuals. Yes. Even saying the structures
yes.
In that area, you know that you're not talking about just ordinary Nigerians, because besides, it's not a cheap area for you to buy a land and reside, so to say.
Yes.
What do you think?
Well, for me, I'm interested in the ecological fund aspect that the governor...
And the governor was not really certain.
Exactly. Now, everything is beginning to make sense now. So, it seemed like a drama, a movie that was staged, so that... the governor said that they have to submit...
From the beginning?
Yes, to show that if it meets the standard of the organization for the ecological fund, then they will be entitled to it. So the more destructive the environment is, the more qualified they will be for the
that's the determinant of...
You understand?
Yes.
There was a resident that actually talked about fishing on that axis. that there are some companies.
No, I said it. I said it to the governor.
To the governor.
But you know, at the end, towards the tail end of what he was saying, he then again said we shouldn't mix things up and that there is no ecological fund anywhere.
But that's amazing. That means
Yes,
talking
he said
about two
that.
sides of the
He
South.
said that. He
He's
said
talking
that.
about being qualified. There's a process, a due process.
Exactly, you heard that.
To qualified.
So I think this is a matter that should be investigated so that we will have an inkling or be certain about what is it about this ecological fund. We will now bring with us residents of that area. I mean, those who are a victim of this flooding. One of them will join us very soon, so we talk to him to see what he has to say about all that happened yesterday, the on-the-spot assessment by the governor and the ministers. But before then, I also put straight to the minister to know, for those who lost their lives as a result of this flooding, what will be done for them as they look towards ending this recurring crisis. So let's quickly take a listen to the minister, after which we will have the victim of flooding here.
First, let me bring the warm greetings, solidarity, and empathy from the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I think that I can say that under President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and with the full support of our governor, the governor of Ogun State, we will find a permanent solution to this problem. I'm saying this because I know that Mr. President knows this problem. He fully understands what the problem is. And the governor has also been very proactive in addressing the problem. About a month ago, when I visited the governor, I recall that one major project that the governor pointed my attention to is flooding problem.
At the moment, I think we have actually spoken. We say that we need a committee that will comprise of the community, the state government, and with the federal government to work together to find permanent solution, an immediate solution to this problem. And in line with that, the governor, His Excellency Prince Dapo, also mentioned that the Minister of Humanitarian is also coming between now and Saturday for us to meet together and provide solutions to this problem. So until this result is out, before we can make a statement of what we are going to do.
For those that
Every problem.
Well, that is Joseph Otsef there. You heard him, because I'm concerned about those who lost their lives in that very flood and what can be done for them. And he has said that they would be taken care of, which was also part of what the governor said. So right now we have in the studio residents of that area. We are now being joined by Johnson Adeshino Ojebi, that's right. So you're welcome to Super Eye.
Welcome, sir. Good morning.
So now, yesterday you witnessed the governor and the ministers. They came on an on-the-spot assessment of that area. And let me start by asking that, how do you feel about this?
It has been a very good development for our governor of Ogun State, for his presence.
that has to do with the flooding, that has to do with our area. More in particular, our own area is Mawere Akurede community. It's part of the listed community that's been affected. So we are expected that government intervention and with the minister being aside from the federal to have solution for the problem, on the problem.
Right on.
So on the problem that has to do with various communities attached to Isheri, Olofin area. And
the governor was saying something about assigning people from the communities to be part of the committee. Do you have people who are going to stand for you and be good spokesmen and people that will represent you properly? Have you already assigned people?
Actually, we're having our people that are within the committee. More in particular, our CDC, our area CDC chairman is there, and then his assistant as well is party to that committee. So they are working towards the resolving at least the problem, resolving the problem with the government. So they are the pipeline committee.
Okay, based on what you heard, the government officials that came yesterday, based on what they said, are you certain, do you really believe that all that has been said will be done as promised?
Actually, with the development ongoing, with the trust we are having in the present governance, more in particular APC government, our president, His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu, our father, and our governor as well, the ministers that came for the engagement, with their promise, we knew that they are going to do something. We are going to see their impact.
Okay, you know they are going to do something. A lot of people have been wondering why it's been taken. The Lagos State governor, I mean, we've not seen the Lagos State governor visit that place, and a lot of people are complaining that it shows that they're being insensitive to your plight. What do you make out of this? Because I believe the Lagos State governor, I know that the Lagos State governor is also a member of APC.
Exactly, to that, I will have, it might, that area is just like being Lagos State, Ogun State and Lagos State. It's more or less the boundary area. That, governor might not be assigned to, Lagos State government might not feel, being assigned to that engagement. It is the Ogun State that mostly been assigned. I think that might be the cause.
The state is mostly affected.
Now, your area was actually sold out by the Lagos State government.
Ogun State.
Ogun State. Okay, you belong to the Ogun State Axis. Now they are saying they are going to do some demolition on some buildings. And these houses, where these lands were bought, didn't you get proper documentation on these lands? Were they not properly documented? Did you have proper documentations before setting out to build?
You see, some of the lands, have been assigned from this Omonile, the son of soil, that they are the ancient owner of the area. Building on that, they have their deed of assignment that have been given to the occupant. So, and then some of us, they have a perfect document that has to do with survey plan, then has to do with their registration, their title document that will make them to be secure on that.
So you're saying that the documents that these individuals have are original documents, and that they built based on the fact that they felt they were doing the right thing and they're not encroaching on any embankments or any drainage system?
You see, in a situation like this, no matter how it may be, there's no way everybody can be compliant to that. But that notwithstanding, I think government should provide policy that will take charge of that side. There should be a policy to that. So that is the way I feel it should be. There should be a policy, to that aspect.
Okay, now, so for some of the structures that the governor said is likely to be, demolished, because he said the ministers might not tell you the way it is, but as your governor, he will be sincere to tell you that some structures will be demolished. If these structures are demolished and yours happen to be amongst the structures being demolished, what will you do?
If it fell on the waterway, there's nothing, just to give way for the water to flow. There's nothing bad in it, because if not, it will still be causing havoc within that entire environment. So I think it's a normal thing.
So it is alleged that there's a space between Maware and Ikorodu, and that if that part of the land is dredged, the water will gain access. Do you know this Maware area, and what's your take on this? They said between Maware and Ikorodu that there's an expanse that if it is dredged open, this water will flow free, and then you will not have the flooding problems.
Exactly, it will be. It's already part. There is already a waterway already, but it has been blocked. You understand? Even community at large, we have been trying to make effort in making some clearance on the waterway, but our capability does not.
It's beyond your capability.
It's beyond our capability.
Then have you brought the notice to the government that this access, because you know the area more than the governor,
exactly,
that this particular village and this particular village has an expanse that is blocked. Can you please assist us to open up the waterways so that we don't get flooded? Have you brought this to the notice to the governor?
Even within our own community, being the CDA chairman of Mawere community, we have writing a letter to even in terms of roads, we have writing a letter to for local government, because that's the area of our jurisdiction that we covered, that they should come. We have been trying, but there are much work for them. So they've just been promising, all said and done, but yet we are still hoping that something with the intervention of the government minister and then directly from the federal, we knew that something better will come up, because we have been worried.
Okay, you see, I'm just perturbed, and I'm wondering how come you all waited up until now before you are now, calling the attention of the government. I mean, what effort have you done? Because I learned it has happened not once, not twice, not thrice. And what effort have you made before now as a community to, put an end or to get the attention of government? Have you ever done anything?
Well, all the reports had been given, more in particular to our CDC, our area CDC, of which they are closer to the government than we CDA. We CDA, we are part of them, but the area CDC, they are to the state of our local government that belongs to, which is for local government. So we have been worried, we have been reporting to them, most photographs have been taken. Then we have submitted to their table for action, but hopefully we expected something better will come out of it.
Okay, as one of the leaders of Mariwa Local Council, Mariwe, Local Council Development Area.
CDA, Community Development Area.
Yeah, that's what I said. So the question is, we heard that 4 persons died in that flood disaster. Can you confirm that to us? Are you aware?
It has happening. And even last year, an incident
it has been happening before now.
Before now.
You kept losing people?
We kept losing, and then we have reported to the authority that, that we are under. You understand? So, even like now, we took Keno, to come out. Most of us that owns car, we had to park out, so we cannot come in now.
So, but like how many, can you confirm how many people had died at the moment?
But like Mawere now,
yes.
There wasn't any, because we have
in your area.
We've been careful, but we are hearing from other, areas that are close to us.
As an indigene, you know this environment more than the governor. You know this environment more than the governor.
We are landlords.
You
We
are
are
landlords,
landlords.
but you've been in this act for a while. And there's sometimes, you as a landlord, you're more like an indigent.
That is it now. Because we are the one that build.
Yeah,
We
you
build,
stay
we are the one
there.
that developed.
What do you think is the lasting solution to this problem? Because you know the terrain more than the governor and the government officials.
The terrain has already shown. There is waterway. It needs to be clear to make an expansion enlargement. It's part of what the minister have said, even our governor, that declared they will expand. They will now lift up the road. You understand? I think it will be. It's already there. So once it is done, well, if not for this year that got out of hand, it has never been much like that last year, but it began to increase, But hopefully, we are expected that things will be better.
Okay, I wouldn't know if you might make a member of the committee set up, but even if you don't, what will be your requirement or what will be your submission in regards to helping to improve the state of that area?
Well,
I mean, what will be your message to the committee, the government officials, and others that will eventually come up with a report on a lasting solution to that area? What will be your own personal submission?
my own personal submission is that we should be inclusive as part of the list that will be, given. Though our area CDC have listed it onto our platform, and it has been shown, it has been known that Mawere is part of the area that has been affected. So I think government, because our representatives, they used to come there, House of Assembly, when it is time for election, because with our large numbers there, occupant, so they are able to gain our voting, right, our franchise there, of which I think something better should be done.
What I'm saying now is, what will be your appeal in regards to those who have fallen victim, who died as a result of flooding, those whose structures will be affected, demolished eventually? What would you say government, how would you say government should consider them? What are those projections that you would like to give to them?
Actually, government should be considerate because there should be a compensation towards that. You understand? Even palliatives, we shouldn't be deprived of palliatives. People that are in charge of being distributing palliative, they should let it reach where it's supposed to be. The affected people, they should be like as it is now, we are more or less in this category. So
okay, so the appeal is for the government officials to ensure that palliatives get to those who are truly in need of it.
Oh yeah, like people that they are building might be demolished for the water to flow, might be compensated. So please, because we are all citizens, we shouldn't be deprived. You understand? So God will help us.
But like, what will you recommend as compensation for these people?
There's a way that government used to value compensation. They can come for assessment. Whatever that's been your property will be assessed. What value is all about. But in most cases, this mistake, mostly, out of ignorance for building on the waterway. But that's not what we are to be saying now. Because one problem or the other might make someone to relocate for somewhere to live. So
all right, okay, beautiful. Thank you so much for coming on U45 Morning Show. We hope that as you have appealed, the best will be done for residents of your area.
thank you.
Well, I've been speaking with one of the residents of of Isheri community, and he has been able to make his recommendation for the government officials and those who will eventually make up the committee. And now we witnessed what happened during COVID-19. Palliatives meant for Nigerians, you remember? Palliatives meant for Nigerians
had to go
were
and
kept,
break into
warehouses
to get the palliatives.
To get the palliatives.
We hope this doesn't go here, that it gets to the needed people who really need this palliatives.
Your thoughts is just the same with mine. We pray and we hope that these government officials or those who make up the committee will be truthful and do what is expected of them. Let's not hold it. Let's not keep it. And the government also said the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs will be there on maybe till Saturday. She will be there to visit, and we look forward to that. The appeal is for us to bring succor to these people, make them feel that they're human beings, make them feel that it is very good to be a citizen of Nigeria. But until then, we will keep following up the story and ensuring that these people are not neglected. And let me also say again, we commend the effort of the governor of Ogun State and every officials that have been so concerned to see that relief is brought to these people. We'll take a short break now and we will be right back. So stay with us.
Family ties, a thorn in the flesh.
We need to remove him, otherwise we are going to be in trouble. You must kill him today, not tomorrow. Today!
There's a handsome prize on your head. And if you can top it, you walk free.
She's even awake. She's awake?
Will you stop that? And don't you dare repeat that again.
What is she doing?
I don't know.
My son is nowhere to be found and you asked me to relax. I can't.
So we're not going to eat?
You have to eat.
Look at you. So you actually want to eat that food? The way this food is smelling, I think it's really going to be delicious.
Oh my son! Oh my son!
What are you doing here?
I will not let you send her out.
She's your rival, you know.
I know she's your wife, and I know it's not right for you to treat her like that.
You heard me. Send yourself out before...
Yes, watching you 45 morning show. Yes, this is about the time we want to know what's trending. What's trending in Nigeria? You need to know. You need to be aware, and that's the reason for which you must always keep a date with you 45 morning show. Yes, we learned that there was a fracas between secondary school students and Okada riders, commercial motorcyclists. Guys, how do you see this? The clash between secondary school students.
I'm really sorry to quote in, Okada riders all over Nigeria are getting out of hand, especially the Northerners. Yes, I'll specifically and emphatically state this, especially the Northerners. Last year,
always been very aggressive.
Yes, there was an incident of this Okada riders almost killing a musician. You know. And these musicians actually paid. I know these people. I'm not talking about outsiders. They went for a show and they negotiated Admiralty Road,
yes.
And they negotiated with this Okada driver. By the time he got to the place to drop them, he insisted on collecting more money, tore their clothes.
After having agreed, I think 200.
I forgot. I think it was 100 naira. And then after that, he went into his gang because he had this uncompleted building close to the place. He took his bike in and came out, fell on the ground, pretended that he had collapsed. And his people came and said, this young men were 419 and they have used him for ritual. They almost killed this. They actually killed one.
They almost killed or
killed one.
I think Solomon or something is the guy's name.
David, the
yes.
engineer, the sound engineer was killed. Philip survived. Frank survived this incident. These people have to be
cautioned.
Seriously, what do you think?
Yeah, while you were talking, I was just thinking about also yesterday when we went to cover the story concerning the flooding. Yesterday there was almost an Okada accident while we were driving out I enjoyed. One of these careless Okada riders again carrying a young girl, and he was about to run into a Camry, but thank God the Camry driver was swift.
Cautious.
Exactly,
fast.
so he was able to make a turn, and he just brushed the side of the bike. It could have been a major accident yesterday. These guys are reckless. These guys are unruly. That's the word.
They're unruly.
And it's like they have a fraternity.
Yeah, yes, they do.
So whenever there's an issue, they just see them coming out
from nowhere, like the one that happened.
What happened here now? We don't know.
They always work in solidarity. You see them come out
without
and
knowing what actually
happened. They don't even want to know. Even when the passenger is right. They are going to throw their weight behind one of them, the Okada riders, and I think they are always too speedy. They are not calm, and I think this also brings to mind the reason for which the Lagos State government is trying to, to stop them. And I've also realized that in some routes that the Okada riders have been stopped from plying, they've begun to ply those roads. And I just hope that the Lagos State government, the task force, so to say, will be able to swing into action quickly and see how those people can be, cautioned and controlled. That's so bad. The secondary school students, somebody who's gone to school and the parents are expecting him
I don't support the fight, but a good thing is the students stood up for their rights. What happened in Lekki was so sad because people were just passing by and these people were being maimed and they were just busy taking films, taking videos.
Well, let's also thank God for...
The society at large should also stand up. It's not only the policemen, the army and the soldiers that should come to the rescue. When you see something going wrong, please come out, speak out, if possible, attack these people. So
I think we should also give kudos to passers-by who were able to quickly intervene, because I saw them stopping them. If you see that video, and so we thank God for that. Now another story trending, Solomon.
Well, Party, we were talking about what was trending this morning, and it was about the very dark man.
Very dark man. And Davido.
Davido with the
blessing CEO calling them out.
So, okay, there's this guy, on Twitter. His name is the very dark man. He's been calling out. A lot of people like him because he's been calling out false people, false organizations. He's been able to expose a lot of false businesses in Nigeria, and people like him for that, and it started trending much more when Davido brought him into Lagos, but there's Blessing CEO who is always after his trail, and Blessing never finds anything good about this
very dark man. Yes.
But something happened recently. Some people have come out to say that Davido is owing them money. Davido is owing them money. And we all expect the very dark man to come out again as he usually does.
And expose and tell us the truth.
Especially with Mohbad's case. He wasn't
has been
everywhere.
personal with the Mohbad case. But now when it comes to Davido, this same very loquacious, very dark man has become mute.
Maybe it's because of, Davido sang his song, a 50 billion for the, and he's on about low, maybe because
let's
he's
talk
on
about someone
that's
that's
why.
always in the news, Asari Dokubo.
Asari Dokubo is also trending at the moment. And now Asari Dokubo has come out to say that the president's appointment is one-sided.
And dangerous.
And dangerous.
Yes,
that's how we said it. That the president has been appointing only Yoruba, and I begin to wonder why Asari Dokubo is crying out at this moment. I saw him when the president was vying to become the president. He was speaking in favor of the president, saying yes, no one else but our president Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and all thanks to God, he is the president now. But it seems because maybe he has been expecting to hear his name as say PA or I don't know. All right, what do you make out of this quickly?
Asari Dokubo should go and take a back seat because you don't support a man and then later you come out and say he's no good. You're part of the process. You're the one that brought him into power, and you should enjoy what you brought into power. That's my say.
Even if it's to your advantage or to your disadvantage, you have to take it where it is. All right, viewers, this is all we will take on what's trending today. We will take a short break now, and when we return, it will be time for us to speak with a business analyst, Olusegun Okwade. My right, that's his surname. Let me not miss it. So, quickly. We'll be right back. It's watching U45 morning show on Superscreen television. We are now being joined by our business analyst, Olusegun Okwade. Olusegun, good morning. Good to see you this morning.
Good morning, Nike. Good morning, Solomon, and good morning to all our viewers.
It feels good to have you physically present in our studio.
Yeah, it's been a while, but we just have to make ends meet up and down. Make it so. That's why I've been joining virtually. But nice to see your face.
Yeah, same here, same here. So Olusegun, let's begin with this very story. The federal government unfolds Forex, tax jobs, investment policies. What do you make out of this?
Yeah, Forex has been part of the trending stories. I saw some of the things you discussed, but for all in the business and the economic world, the intake thing now is foreign exchange. Knowing fully well that as at this morning somebody called that we are about 1,300 to $1, and you ask yourself the question, how did we get here? But it's part of what we keep saying, that the failures of people ahead of you might actually impact on whatever plans you have as an individual, and that's part of the things we say. If not for any other thing, the Ministry of Finance before now, CBN, plays strategic role. The CBN handled the monetary policy, the Ministry of Finance handled the fiscal policy. I discovered that in the last administration, these two that are supposed to be speaking to one another were actually moving against one another. Remember, during the period of Naira redesign, the Minister of the Finance came on air to say she was not aware of what was going on. Definitely, that will impact on your own deliverables, and it's really disheartening. But be as it may, this new administration has taken over, and foreign exchange has been the intake thing. But you ask yourself the question, why is it the major thing? Why is giving so much pressure? It's because the Nigeria of old we know is not what we are having now, and that's why we are actually calling on the government to see how intentional they can be in the aspect of making sure that we have the productive and industrialization. Nikki, I was with someone, I think in a program where I had to make presentation, where they were talking that as at 1983, the dollar was a Naira to $1. That I know. And though we were unable to touch dollars, we touch it now. No. But then it's something you can compare the kind of life we live then. But what's the missing gap? Then we had a country blessed with natural resources, process it here and utilize it, not dependent. And excess of it are taken abroad to other countries. But where are we as we speak? We have natural resources, take it to another country to process and buy from it. So it's just like somebody who is a farmer that produces yam and give the yam to someone to help you to pound and bring back home. You are a woman now, so how does that feel? The taste you can't guarantee, the quality you can't guarantee. Definitely that man will the peel that will take from the yam, we will use it to process elubo and some other things. So that's where we found ourselves, because those days that we are refining the product locally, some of those byproducts, what it does is that it's an input. Take for example fertilizer. That's what you use in the agricultural sector. You have jelly that some people are making use of, bitumen and some of those. But as we speak, you take the crude oil there, and when you need some of those products that are input to other sector, you pay dollars again to bring them back in. These are part of the problem, and we are like, government should be intentional. But I think this administration, by my own assessment, people may not want to follow that trend, seems to be intentional. And what do I mean? We have the synchronization of the fiscal policy and the monetary policy. This is the first time we can see the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Economy sitting down with the CBN governor. We have the fiscal committee, the Presidential Committee on Fiscal Policy, brainstorming on it. And part of the thing, I think we discussed in one of our sessions, the removal of the 7.5% VAT on diesel. That's the recommendation from the Presidential Tax Force, which the last administration enforced. So I think both of them now have understanding that they need to work hand in hand if we must move. And the fiscal is so important in the sense that it talks about taxation. They're already taking away this multiple taxation. Somebody was saying that the woman selling pure water in front of you, of which Nick I know, you will know, we have to take about 7 tickets a day. So ask yourself, how much is the margin on that?
I don't get
on
it.
that particular.
But Sheson, let me quickly ask you about this. Still talking about the Forex and tax. The writer also said 260 taxes to be slashed to single digits.
Yeah, the presidential tax force, who happens to be a brother and friend, we know what he was advocating for while he was on the side like us. And the truth be told that we need to streamline it in terms of the regulatory people, in terms of the states, the federal, the local government. How can we have a common ground? You discover that you pay some taxes to the federal government. Indirectly, you are paying some to the state, and the local government are just by your doorstep to lock your shop if you don't fulfill it. What is the margin that you make? Most of the time, we don't understand the fact that when you put those pressure on the business owner,
you kill the business.
You don't only kill the business, you kill the consumers. In the sense that I'll be willing to pay, I transfer the cost to you, I won't absorb it. I may not make as much margin as I desire to make, but the truth of it is, if you are imposing those things on me, definitely I transfer it to the consumer. And taxation is about your profit. So when I don't have profit, what is there for government to tax on? So that is why we consider that the presidential committee has suggested that the intent is a proposal to reduce all those, and they've started the engagement. They had a session with the legislative, and because those things are in the constitution, so it's not something that they will come with fiat. They need to solve for the commitment of the legislator in such a way to amend that from the constitution, because what the federal is taking, what the state is taking, what the local government is taking are entrenched in the constitution, and they already have a retreat with the legislative arm over the weekend. They intend to meet with NEC, the state governor. In fact, the president has given the will, talking to the SA on the policy coordination to make sure that happens, so that they can talk to the state government, because whether you like it or not, it will impact on them. And the local government, they are the worst aspect of it that you just need. So, situation where can we come to a common ground? And I don't think there is argument in the allocation of FAC every month. The states get their own allocation based on the parameters. So can we have a parameters, agree to it, and let's just have an agency collecting all these taxes. So for a business owner, I can plan my activity. Know that, okay, I have this number of taxes to pay based on the kind of businesses and the business I'm doing, and these are the period that I'm expected to fulfill those things. You can concrete that into your plan and you can go. I think the presidential committee are doing a pretty good job, and the beauty of it is that the president has given them not just to formulate the policy, but work around to implement it. That's the interesting thing. So don't come and speak grammar. You give us the suggestion.
Action.
Or you action it. So that, when you build, you can build. We have fantastic policy in this country. When it comes to policy, because those that formulate the policy is different from those that will implement it. They don't have understanding. They don't know what is there in your mind while you're doing it. And even the processes, when you write it down, they are struggling within themselves to say, these processes, are you sure it's going to work? Are they implementable? So, but for you must have carried out your research. So when you bring out the processes and it's failing, we can throw it back at you. That you didn't do your thorough job, rather than trading blame. So I want to believe that we, even though it's really not too interesting on the part of every business owner to speak, but we can give them a benefit of that. Don't forget that the current budget the country is running is not by this administration, it's by the last administration, even though the same party. But we want to see what they will make out of it. When the president...
After all, government is
it's continuing, but at the same time, there are certain things that I'm sure you are aware of, certain things that the government did in using crude to borrow. Debt is not only in terms of the monetary aspect that we're taking. We've even used some of our natural resources to borrow money. That's why some people are complaining that Dangote is yet to commence operation, because we can't send crude oil to him. So looking at some of these things, they will come out with their own budget, which we learned that the president will present by November. And let's see the best that the National Assembly will do to speed it up.
Okay. Sheson, before we let you go, there's this statistics by NDIC, the Nigerian Deposit Insurance Company. They said, corporation, they said 99.4% of Nigerians have less than 500,000 in their accounts. 99.4. Okay. So in the case of emergency, I mean, what would an average Nigerian do?
When there is emergency, you use emergency approach to attack them. That's the truth about that statistics. I want to believe it, because knowing fully well the business situation is really not conducive. And you see, this thing trickles. When the person at the top is not having it lively, the next kidder, you can imagine if before now, as the Oga, you are sharing 10 million between you and Nike, is to say that 5 million each, both of you can do it. There are people who are dependent on you. Maybe you give them to like
on both parties.
You know, there are people that are dependent on that person. Well, all of a sudden, the Oga that shares 10 million to the two of you just reduced it to 1 million.
Oh my goodness.
So that means rather than you having 5 million, you are getting 500,000. So that's drastic, and you have obligation to fulfill. So you that you've been giving somebody 1 million, you might struggle to just give 50,000. And that person that you are giving 50,000 has obligation. So rather than him trickling it down, some people are dying below the ladder. So that's the current situation we are faced with. And until we revamp the economy in such a way that some of the policies that is going on in the fiscal environment to make sure that an average citizen breathes can continue to have its way. The woman selling pure water, let the person breathe in such a way that at least the little margin with her, she can use that to develop the children that is sending to school. Not like the one that my friend told me, Taiwo, and said the woman came to the market and she's putting the sewing machine on the table. Somebody came and he said it's from the local government. Madam, this is your ticket for me. Say, even I that am here have not eaten. And the next thing, you carry the machine, you go. How do you want the person to survive and make ends meet? So if you can streamline that area of fiscal policy in such a way that people that are bordered on those small people, they have their contribution to the economy. And it's impactful. I must say, that woman selling pure water, if you stroll down and you can't get that water, then you appreciate the woman.
Honestly.
So those are the things that we feel that the government needs to work on and make things happen.
And we hope that the government will quickly swing into action by being very proactive, so that our economy gets to that place which all of us are looking forward to. Olusegun Okwade, I wish you can go on and on. I'm always enjoying you when you're talking, and many thanks for coming this morning on U45 Morning Show.
Thank you very much for having me, Nick and Solomon. And to our viewers, I always advise, try as much as possible to check on your loved ones. The economy is hard. And create the happiness for yourself. That's the most important thing. Because I always tell you, there's always light behind the tunnel. It's a passing phase, so we'll always get there.
I would advise that Olusegun, you quickly go and become a pastor. Well, viewers, this is where we draw the curtain on the U45 Morning Show. Many thanks for watching. Remember to join us same time tomorrow. I am Adenike Owoye Ajiboye.
And I am Solomon Osage Wilfred.
And that is how we say goodbye.